please everyone give a great round of applause for Chris Ridley, who's coming all the way from Sheffield.
Thank you for that, Anu. I won't be rude, I've just got the clicker on here, so that's why I'm looking at my phone now and then. Also, don't hate me, these aren't my words. These are the words from a LinkedIn post I saw from a digital marketing agency owner that went as follows. Paid media marketers will soon go extinct. The next part of his LinkedIn post went as follows. Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. All of them are moving towards making it easier and easier for marketers to advertise online. Before they start promoting their own services and their own agency and how great they should sign up with them and so forth. Normally I carry on doom scrolling at this point, ignoring what they're saying. But this one stuck with me and I even responded to it, which you can find on LinkedIn. I don't want to share it here because I don't want to name the person that did all this. But it stuck with me so much, I actually changed how I was going to do this presentation. I was going to talk about performance max and how it suits your business. But I've already done that before, the talks are online there, you can see that elsewhere. Instead I want to talk about the future of performance max and whether we are going to go extinct because of it. And the reason this is because automation is great and it's amazing, except for when it doesn't go right. And Hannah Fry, the author of the book Hello World, How to Be Human in the Age of Automation, mentions it pretty well. She said, it's the smooth and sophisticated automatic systems are almost always reliable that you've got to watch out for. And for this reason, I've changed my topic to be Performance Max. Comment, kill ppc. Don't worry, if you wish to learn about Performance Max and how it can suit your businesses specifically, I've got 2 talks on that already online. You can see that at Optimising on their Unlevel Hub. And I also did a talk at Sheffield DM in July about it, which you can find the slides online as well. But for the next 20 minutes, I will be talking about Performance Max, what it is, how it works, and how we the humans can add extra to it to get that advantage over our competitors. But first, let's get to know this so-called comment that everyone's talking about. Let's get to know Performance Max. Performance Max is an all-in-one campaign type that can target users across the entire Google ecosystem. From YouTube and search to Gmail and Maps, you can target it all within one campaign type. It is also fully automated, thanks to Google's latest and best, in their opinion, machine learning technology. And it can make data-driven decisions instantly without any human input. Okay, that's great for us, isn't it? It also targets the mid to low funnel section of your sales funnel. People who are considering your brand, researching your brand, or ready to convert, whether that's a purchase or a lead. Google has heralded Performance Max as an upgrade for smart shopping and local campaigns. And they're already stopping people from creating new campaign types of these this month. And they're already automatically upgrading your local and smart shopping campaigns now. So make sure you're checking your accounts if you've got local smart shopping campaigns, because at the end of this month, you won't be able to make any more. And they'll be joining the Google graveyard. Many other beloved features, such as expanded text ads, true exact maps, and broad maps modifiers. And this is all as part of their big push of this upgrade they're doing to make Performance Max better than local and smart shopping campaigns. It's also worth noting that Performance Max campaigns will be prioritised over your display and smart shopping and standard shopping campaigns. They will also be prioritised over non-identical keywords, a new phrase which we'll cover later. What this means when I say prioritised over is if you have a smart shopping campaign and a Performance Max campaign eligible for the same ad, the Performance Max will win. It will show. And I'll explain later why that's not good. Always. But let's first introduce a friend. Meet if it wants to click through. Meet Ginny. Ginny Marvin is the ads liaison for Google Ads. She's very active on social media and she will help you with any questions you have regarding Google Ads, any bugs. She also provides clarity on matters like this. Earlier this year, she did a tweet, last year actually, sorry, she did a tweet explaining what identical keywords were. And these are queries that exactly match your keyword. For example, if you have a keyword that is haberdashery, however, you have a search query that is haberdasheries near me, your search campaign won't pick up for haberdashery near me because it's not exact. Instead, your performance max, if it's eligible, will take that keyword instead and it will show the ad from there instead. And this is a big thing because the best way to negate this, to mitigate this, is by finding these search terms that you want to target within your search campaigns, add them as keywords as they show within your search campaigns. So now that we know what Performance Max is, let's look at how it works. Let's go under the bonnet. Like the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm a big fan of it by the way, there are 4 key elements to Performance Max. I'll go through them now for you. The first one is asset groups. These function just like ad groups in other campaign types, where they categorize and organize the other elements within the campaign type. I have an example here showing smart shopping campaigns and a Performance Max campaign, and how asset groups function just like ad groups. As you can see, they both hold creatives, they both hold listing groups, product groups, which are the same things, different names, don't get confused. And you've also got audience signals as well. The next one is the bedrock of any campaign type, the creative. You can't run ads without creative. And these come in 4 different ways. The number 4 shows up a lot in this presentation. There's nothing special about that, it's just coincidence. These come as business logos, images, video content, and ad content such as headlines and descriptions. And Google Performance Max will mix and match all of these to make hundreds, maybe thousands of different ad variations, which you have no control over. The next up is the listing groups. As I've mentioned, they function the same as product groups, where you can segment and organize your products from your Google Merchant Center product feed into separate groups. This allows you to control when they show up and what they show up for, to a certain extent. And then the last one, the most fiery and controversial element of a Performance Max campaign, is the audience signal. These are implemented the same way as any other audience targeting segmentation. You tell Google what audiences, demographics you like, you tell him what websites they've been to, what search terms, keywords that you want to target. And Google will be like, that's great, just that. We'll use that. Maybe. Because unfortunately they use it more as a guideline than an actual rule on what to do. And Ginny actually explained this as a jumpstart only for Performance Max, which means if you tell Google Performance Max that you want to target haberdashery, it will go for other keywords other than haberdashery. It will go for what is haberdashery, local haberdasheries near me, and so forth. And these are the 4 key elements of your Performance Max campaigns. You have got the asset groups, the creative, the listing groups, and the audience signals. Now that we know what it is and how it works, what now? It can do all this, it can make hundreds of ad variations, it can target whoever it wants. Can we actually do anything then? If they can run ads across every single channel on the Google ecosystem, why need us? Well, I'll give you an example why later. But first I want to explain 2 people that disagree with that opinion. And the first one is our friend Ginny. She's back. And she says, marketers who invest the time to learn how machine learning does and doesn't work, and how it's being used in PPC platforms, and which levers can now be used to inform these systems, will outplay those who are still aiming for the old goalposts. While this doesn't reflect Google's own opinion and their stance on this, having someone like Ginny saying this, and she wrote this in a book which I'll get onto later, is a big thing for us to take because that shows weight behind her words. And the interesting part here is about her belief that we can use levers that are now available to us to outplay and get an advantage over our competitors. The person that shares this opinion is Ridley, who is the co-founder of Optimising, which is a ppc platform which lets you automate and provide a SaaS service to agencies and businesses alike. He's wrote a book called Unlevel the Playing Field, which Ginny's extract came from as well. And in his first chapter, he says, having had a front row seat at many successful shifts in mindset AI has caused, I know firsthand that the human factor is and will remain relevant, indeed essential in digital marketers' present and future, no matter what Google says. It's important to know he is an ex-Google employee, one of the first 100, I think it was, to be employed by Google. And he worked on Google Ads and kind of understanding when an ad appears for a certain term and if it's meant to appear. So he understands about automation and the future of Google Ads. So, in the age of automation, how do we have an impact? How do we change the goalposts we're aiming for, and how do we use those levers? Well, Frederick Valley goes on to say that there's 4 key roles that paid marketers should aim to fulfill, and these are the teacher, the pilot, the doctor, and strategist. And he wants you to fulfill all 4 of them. Sounds like we're wearing a lot of hats like PPC people do, but trust me, it'll be worth it. The teacher is the one that is educating the machine learning, teaching performance max campaigns what we like and what we don't like, providing an environment that it can thrive in without getting a little bit lost in the reads. We, as the teacher, have to provide it the assets, the ad copy, and so forth. We have to kind of give it the goals and tell it what conversions we want to achieve and the budget. The pilots, they kind of take hold of the wheel and they drive it through the launch of the campaigns and the account. But then as pilots these days, they'll take their hands off and let the AI run. What they don't do is lose focus. They stay vigilant, and if anything goes wrong, say unexpected bank holiday causes every shop to close, they will take the wheel and they will teach Google, let's stop ads today, let's, exclude the data we've got from this Monday because it's irrelevant. You then got the doctor. When the pilot can't fix the issue, you call in the doctor, you put your doctor's hat on, and you then evaluate the situation and go, what's gone wrong here? When you find the issue, you then work out what's causing it, and you try to find a solution, a cure for it. If you can't, you put someone into quarantine, and I'll get onto that later. And then you monitor them while they rehabilitate, and you reintroduce them into the Performance Max campaign, if you get success from it. And that's where we come on to that human touch, how we paid marketers don't go extinct and how we actually have an impact on Performance Max going forward. And for this, I'll use a case study of my own from my time at Evoluted. So I'd like to introduce DoorDeals. DoorDeals put themselves as a leading independent online timber door retailer. They sell wooden doors. Simple. They function in a very competitive B2C environment where you have people like B&Q and you have Wix as big competitors, as well as specialist competitors as well. What we were able to do though, after initially testing Performance Max within Evoluted's own accounts and within accounts associated like carmax.co.uk, we got early data on Performance Max, and we turned to DoorDeal and goes, this could potentially work for you. So on the 7th of December, we launched Performance Max within their account. And this is the performance we've seen from 7th of December to 31st of July this year. As you can see, all of the metrics, the data-driven metrics, as Veronica would tell you, have all increased. We've got sales up nearly 100%, revenue up 73%, ROAS up by 6%, conversion rate up by 51%. This is on year. Seem to be jumping here. Just give me a second. something isn't happy there. And here is how it looks month on month from August 2018. As you can see, I've put in lockdown here. I've put in the end of lockdown as well, where that July is. And then you can see PMAX introduced at December. As you can see, since introducing Performance Max, we have maintained a consistent ROAS, the red line, throughout the time, while increasing sales and maintaining high sales month on month. Just for some context, the clients loved the performance they were seeing, so they increased budgets during this time compared to last year by 63%. So obviously, to get those sales up, we had to invest more budget. But this is because of the success they saw, rather than just trying to throw money at the situation. So, this was the success we achieved through door deals. That's great, I haven't told you how though, have I? So here are four key tasks of what I did to get this to work. First off was preventing auto-generated assets. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I had a bit of an issue with them when around January, December time. Because if you don't upload video assets, Google will for you, by the way. They will take your images, and they will make a lovely slideshow for you. You wouldn't be able to tell that from all of the photos I gave them loads of different ones. They just chose the same one over and over again. And they thought this nice red and white looks great. I personally love the music though. I don't know if you can hear it over there, but just ended, but amazing. The way I got around this though is I used a free tool called Decanter. I took the images we had to quickly make emergency videos, which were 10-second longs, of just static images. I put call to actions on it, I put a bit of text, even animated a little bit, just because I felt like it. You know, and if you really wanted, you could get fancy doing a voiceover, you could stitch a couple of images together and actually make it feel like a video. But we did this quickly, and that stopped Google showing their auto-generated videos instantly. Because you cannot opt out of the video channel or any channel, as long as it has assets or it can create assets for it. So the next challenge I had was minimalising and mitigating as much cannibalisation as I could throughout the account. As we've said, Performance Max prioritised itself over shopping, display, and non-exact keywords. You know, non-identical keywords, as they say. Which means we had to add those identical keywords in to stop that. We did that by going into the Insight tab within Performance Max, looking at the search term insights, and anyone that we liked there that we saw conversions on, we added those as keywords within search campaigns. This then stopped Google using Performance Max because we then had an identical keyword within our search campaigns. We also, for products, made sure that we excluded any products from the Performance Max product groups that we didn't want Performance Max to target. And to do that, we introduced a product feed which would optimise it, and we made sure that every product in there told you it was a door, told you what material it was made out of, the size, and told you if it was an internal or external door. Because I learnt in December, they're different. Who knew? But all doors were waterproof, I don't know. I don't buy doors. I do now actually, buy door deals. There you go. And as you can see here, once we did that, this is the original product title, where it just says Oak 1930s 4-panel on the side. Doesn't even say the word door, by the way. Yeah? And with a product feed, it's like SEO. You have to make it accessible to Google, and it spells out to Google what it is, but also to users. And with these on the left, Google had no idea. On the ones on the right, though, they know it's an internal oak door. Internal, not external. Good to know. Also tells you it's custom size or the actual size it is. And this helps, this improved impressions, and we're able to get poor performing products perform better. The final one we did was set up a standard shopping campaign, and this had two functions to it. The first one was a safety net. So any traffic that Performance Max missed due to budget, due to eligibility, anything else, that standard shopping campaign can swoop in and catch it, to make sure we didn't lose any sales. It also acted as the rehabilitation, it's a hard word to say, and the quarantine for any products that weren't performing well, that we wanted to monitor, tweak in terms of optimising the product feed, and then monitor the performance before reintroducing it to Performance Max. And this worked really well for us. And I actually got this idea from Lawrence Chassé, who's part of the PPC chat Twitter community, as he used different Performance Max campaigns to do this. And I just took it one step further by making it standard shopping campaigns instead. So these are the 4 tasks I did to get this result. I mitigated cannibalisation, I optimised product feed, I introduced a standard shopping campaign, and I also prevented auto-generated assets. So that's all great, but there is more we can do. There's a lot more we can do. To begin with, you can import offline data. As Veronica was saying, if you can get profits recorded and get that into your Google Ads, do it. You can then use that to actually push Performance Max to focus on profit rather than return on ad spend, and that will improve performance. You can also get customer lists and provide that as audience signals to Google. It won't listen to it all the time, but they do take it into consideration at the beginning. You could also do stuff like data exclusions. And just remember though, any customer data you put into Google Ads, it's your responsibility GDPR-wise how that is collected and processed. Google won't take responsibility if you bought data and put it in. It's all on you. So remember that. But like I was saying, you can use data exclusions. If you know a bank holiday happened, you've got to turn the ads off and it's messed up your bid strategy, exclude that date range. If you know that the weather affects the performance, you can use a tool like Optimizer or build one yourself that will affect the target CPA, the target ROAS, based on the weather from a real-time API, which is something we're currently working on for one of our taxi firm clients based in London, so that when it's raining, we increase our bid, we increase our CPA to be more aggressive to target those users through Performance Max. And that is everything from it. There's a lot. So let's do a quick summary. Takeaways of what I've gone through. First one, Performance Max is easy to learn, but hard to master. AI is not going to replace us. We're not going anywhere because we've got to keep it working. We keep needing to learn how it works. Next up is control the environment. Performance Max doesn't understand context, so we have to provide it everything we need to give it the context it knows, so it can function the way we want. Give it profit, give it the actual ROAS you want, feed data into it. A good strategy for this is by Mike Ryan, and he's done a great article about how to do a beginner's, intermediate, and advanced strategy that you can level up as you get familiar with Performance Max. And he really uses stuff like ROAS, but then also POAS, profit on ad spend. Also, make sure you watch out for keyword and shopping cannibalisation. It does happen, and it can consume your brand search, which makes it hard for you to report on it. Also, don't be like me and get caught out by auto-generated ads, please. And then also utilise real-life data where you can. If you can feed back into Google that a product was returned on a Google ad sale, you can then turn that conversion value back to 0, and that will teach Google not to go for that person. You could also use weather APIs, as I mentioned. You could also use airport departures. If you can feed that in, you know an airport's got a lot of departures, a lot of arrivals, feed that data in. You can use that as bid adjustments. And finally, humans and machines are better than machines alone. Machines are great at processing data, spotting patterns within numbers. They're not good at understanding context or spotting their own errors. Humans are pretty good at spotting other people's errors, so make sure that we work together on that. And we hate analysing data hours and hours. Machines love it. Make sure we work together and we'll actually get more out of Performance Max than if we left it to its own devices. I'm Chris Ridley from Evoluted. We are currently hiring for paid search executive. Thank you for coming to my PLU talk.